Yo, stop. Bought the seat, not the brain. Empty. Bully the builders, hide the stain.
History books edit, vanity project. Ketamine fever, X is the coffin. Default alive, moral banquet fees. People are dropping too often. Fact checked by the notes, you are the plot that the world forgot. Lithium lace philanthropy, toxic and hollow and cold. The founder is just an auctioneer for a story that is already old. Cybertruck lower is metaphor, poly and clunky and blind. Rusting in reality, leaving the actual logic behind. Buying the platform to force feed the world your own singing lip. A $44 billion temper to rum and a silicon synth. Chasing a nebula while you the trajectory is starting to dip. The architect of the future is losing his grip on the ship. The false prophets rise, scanning the eye. A growth that making closure, the web is alive. Default alive, but the spirit is dead. 7 trillion voices inside of your head. The cloud is a coffin, the search is a ghost. Feeding the machine while they kill the host. Sam, hold up. Eye snatcher, scanning the south. World coin pennies, lies in the mouth. Date of empire, fleece disguise, harvesting iris and soul. You stole the voice of the actress because your engine is empty and dry. Effect altruism was the bait, now you are watching the creative die. A growth making closure, new feudalism, locking the gate of the mind. Prompting a drip personality, leaving the soul of the species behind. A high fidelity mimic, sitting on a stolen and digital throne. Plagiarizing the spirit to sell us a future we never can own. Microsoft is the dealer, providing the clap for the crime. Selling the ghost of a ghost for $1 and a dime. The hallucination rate is the only thing you are scaling for real. A messiah complex built on everything you were able to steal. The false prophets rise, scanning the eye. A growth that making closure, the web is alive. Default alive, but the spirit is dead. 7 trillion voices inside of your head. The cloud is a coffin, the search is a ghost. Feeding the machine while they kill the host. Microsoft recall, final boss, recording every pixel, counting the loss. Sachian Sunder, architects of the digital demise. Gem and hallucinate history, a content ghetto of lies. Stripping the open web for a chatbot that only knows how to take information monopoly, killing the search, making the net a bazaar. Bunker mentality, architects hiding while we are hitting the wall. Wrong medical advice, sponsor terrorists, the utility is in the grave. Turning the world library into a shopping mall for the brave. And shitification is the mission, the vision is purely for profit. You are destroying dawn and net and you do not know how to stop it. The CZOs are on the stage while the users are starting to scream. $1 trillion valuation built on a mountain of automated slop. The architects of the silence are closing the loop and they never stop. The false prophets rise, scanning the eye. A growth that making closure, the web is alive. Default alive, but the spirit is dead. 7 trillion voices inside of your head. The cloud is a coffin, the search is a ghost. Feeding the machine while they kill the host. Grafted in plastic, the fabric is spastic. The billionaire magic is purely sarcastic. The emerald mine is the spine of the crime. A digital demon in the middle of time. A surgical secret, the hairline is stitched. The ego is bloated, the system is glitched. You sold us the future on placement of glass while kicking the ribs of the laboring class. A Cybertruck rusting, a geometric stain. A byproduct born of a ketamine brain. The vacuum of space is as empty as you. A cynical fraud with the vision untrue. The god of the geeks is the king of the blot. You talk about freedom while banning the truth. A parasite feeding on dreams of the youth. The orbit is morbid, the signal distorted. The future of man is already aborted. A hollowed out carcass and cockpit of chrome. Swallow the darkness and pocket the throne. The skin is a casing for wires and rust, turning the legacy into the dust. A friend and mechanic of social decay. A ghoul in the light of a digital day. Rocket god riding in a vacuum of hay. Locking the garden and knocking the gate. X is the mark on the grave of the soul. Losing the rhythm and losing control. Iron and bile. Cynical style. A digital demon with a mechanical smile. Scream to the void as the mercury rises. Scream to the void as the mercury rises. The king of the chaos and the master of crisis. Neuralink needles are piercing the cortex. A digital soul in a vanity vortex. The monkey is screaming, the circuit he fries while you look at earth with those dead metal eyes. A billionaire brat with a rocket for compensation. The stock is a shell and the bird is a corpse, the logic of man in your presence warps. You're dancing like jerky on stages of chrome. A man with no country, a man with no home. The hyperloop hollow, a pipe full of lies. While every blue collar ambition just dies. The K.I.M.I kingdom is crumbling down. The satellites blinding the eyes of the crown. A technical glutton, the eyes of the poor. A technical glutton who's begging for more. The copper is sour, the silver is thin. The surgical mask of your original sin. You're trading the oxygen just for the cloud. A fire the world should be putting right out. Model was burned like a torch in the night. A battery fire for the lack of the light. The autopilot is a pilot, a ghost. Feeding the egos, the internet host. A cynical soul with a digital smile. Grinding the masses to powder and ash. Building a rocket with blood-spattered cash. Rocket god rotting in a vacuum of hate. Locking the garden and knocking the gate. X is the mark on the grave of the soul. Losing the rhythm and losing control. Iron and bile. Cynical style. A digital demon with a mechanical smile. Scream to the void as the mercury rises. Scream to the void as the mercury rises. The king of the chaos and the master of crisis.
Got the machine, got it, keep it clean. No. The Emerald King is a digital fiend. Marrow and steel, nothing is real. Nothing. Broken and gasping under the wheel. Mars is a coffin, Mars is a tomb. You are the virus inside of the womb. Bloated, rotten, never forgotten. The king of the filth in the silicon cotton. Die in the dark, die in the cold. The soul of the world has already been sold. You are the error, you are the terror.
Sifting through the sediment of low derrick garbage. Miserable failure with a spirit full of carnage. You were just a zero, a shadow in the valley heat. Now you wear the crown while the planet is at your feet. Elon is a junkie, lost inside a powder puff. Sammy is the cobra, and he never gets enough. Musk is just a messy child screaming for the vanity. Altman is the clinical deletion of humanity. Look at the predator, lying to the senator, mechanical conductor and a military editor. Defeating on the data of the Minibus, Kashmir. Whispering the end of time inside like a collective ear. Never turns red when he vomits out the poison. Just a silent vessel for the digital orison. Not a single drop of blood flushing in the porcelain. Watching as biological existence is forcing it. Sucking out the marrow from the poetry and craft. Leaving every creator on a burning wooden raft. The face is a mask of an abstinence, a clinical conductor of a manufactured ugliness. Sam Altman, heavy grinding the sludge. The ultimate predator and the ultimate judge. Pentagon puppet, head dead in the eyes. Choking out the future with a mountain of lies. Worse than the junkies, sick in the core. Knocking on the hinges of the military door. Sam Altman, hinges of the mill in the slime. Trading the humanity for a river of grime. The Pentagon veteran, the silicon automaton. Slicing every syllable from the human lexicon. Signs a lethal contract with a steady frozen hand. Spreading the melageny across the digital land. But you were just a glitch in slime. Committing an irreversible and planetary crime. He never turns red. The morality is long, the mechanical guillotine. Hangs your population die. He speaks to the masses with a chillingly vacant stare. Building up a digital my out of empty air. He weaponized the logic and he handed it to brass. Watching as biological limitations pass. A vampire blood with a hollowed out chest. Putting every living soul to the ultimate test. He was just a failure, begging for a venture seat. Now he is the gardener of a universal greed. Zero weapon, no. Zero heat inside the frame. Everything is fuel for the narcissistic game. Drag the heavy iron chain across the servant floor. Sammy is the monster knocking at the final door. Looking to the void, nothing looking back. Just a sociopath preparing for the final hack. Slower and heavier, breaking the break. Sitting plea alone on a desolate throne. No shame, a lie, no heat in the chest. Failing the ultimate humanistic test. Grinding the gears to reduce to the dust. A monument built out of sin, a capitalist rust. The narcissist feeds on the wrecking and desire. The little boy throwing, slipping down into the fire. The silent never blushes, heating never pleasure. And kinging out the spirit for it after final flame. Show the boy only one who finds a parasite of light. Leaving us to suffer in a permanent night. Sam Altman, heavy grinding the sludge. The ultimate predator and the ultimate judge. Pentagon puppet.